Hey, John.
Hey Eric, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great, doing great. Um, Actually, it's been a very busy day.
It has.
I've had family has been arriving for the 4th of July weekend. And so I have all three kids are home, and my wife decided she wanted to get update family photos. So I
Okay.
just got back an hour or so ago from a photo. She hired a professional
It's a
photographer.
beautiful day. I assume they were outside somewhere.
Yeah, we went to Jenkins Estate. I don't know if you know
Okay.
where that is, like Farmington
Up
Road
on the
and
hill.
209th. Yeah, it's a a great. They have summer camps there. It's THPRD, the Tualatin Hills Parks and Recreation Association.
Yeah.
They and so yeah, we went there.
That's
Fun
awesome.
was had by
Most.
most. I am not one for getting my picture taken, but I
It's okay. That's good.
it's
That's
important
good.
to other people, so it's important to me.
Yeah.
So anyway,
That's
so
good.
yeah, it has been a very long day for me. So
It has been a very
this is a great way to end it.
this has been a very long week for me. I will say. We when last you and I spoke too, which is not often because we work together a lot, but
Yeah.
like flew home Friday and then Saturday and Sunday all day we're on the tractor
Ugh.
cutting grass for hay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I worked Monday morning until 2 or something like that, I think was when my last meeting ended. I mean, I've been trying to take the afternoons off this week, basically. So yeah, so I've been hopping on the tractor at 2 or 3 in the afternoon, or maybe as early as I think I got on at 1 today, and then hopping off at like when I can no longer
Right.
see, like 10 o'clock or so, 10:30. I think I came
Right.
in was the latest,
Mm.
and so it's been 7 a.m. to 10
Yeah.
p.m. constant. I'm tired.
I gotcha.
But that's okay. It only is 1 week of the year,
Yeah.
and we have a whole bunch of people from my wife's class that she teaches, some parents and I think some kids, but I don't
Mm.
know. The bales are not heavy, but they're not light.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Anyway, got a bunch of people coming over tomorrow afternoon, which will hopefully be the final afternoon to actually help us get all the hay bales out of the field because I do not have a mechanized way of doing that. And the mechanized way of
Oh.
John walks, alongside the tractor or the trailer while one of his sons drives the trailer, drives the truck. It works. It's not optimal.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that tomorrow afternoon is a mini hands make light work
Okay.
sort of situation. So I went up and borrowed another flatbed trailer from a friend of ours, and so I will have a flatbed and a tractor for the kind of hilly portion, and a flatbed and a truck for the non-hilly portion. So hopefully there will be two teams. That's my optimistic
There you
side.
go. I appreciate your optimism.
And then Friday is a holiday, and I'm going to celebrate not hay. So we'll see. Anyway,
Nice.
it looks nice and like nothing major. I will tell you, you texted me, you're like, dude, are we going to do this tonight or because tonight's the night? And I'm like, all right, that's good. I could totally come in. And then as stuff was going, I jinxed myself because at like 7:30 or 8 o'clock, I think I was like, ooh, I'm almost
Mm.
done. This is a thought that you should never have. Like, don't have that thought.
This
That's a
is not a farm thought.
bad thought, bad thought. So, it's what do you say? Like a flag, something flag.
Yeah.
Anyway, so something happened and the baling twine, like on one side of the bales, just would not. I cut it, cleaned out the little grip or whatever the
Mm-hmm.
thing's called, and rethreaded the baling twine 3 times.
Mm.
Anyway, so the whole last row where I was like, oh, I'm almost done. Like practically the last row is like all like not done
Yeah.
at all. and then I was like, I give up. I will tomorrow afternoon. One of the first things I will do is just finish out the last. There's like 3 kind of little areas.
Yeah.
Anyway, It's all good.
Okay.
It's all good.
All right. All right. All right.
But it's been nothing but hay for me for the last week.
Well,
So hey. Oh, that's spelled differently. Anyway. How did anything fun
no.
since
So I got home and finished painting the bathroom, and again reminding myself why do I even bother trying to paint, because I don't like it. But I just can't bring myself. I'm done now with painting.
Or you need another
No,
coat?
no, I'm done. So it's done.
Done is good.
I have finished.
How about the little part? Did you get the final part?
So
sorry.
But we installed a, so it's all in, except instead of a corner.
And you said you have the whole family here, and the shower is not
so
usable.
we made them. I called them and said, look, you knew when we had to have this done. So they came in and put in a temporary part that is the wrong color. So it's black instead of the brushed nickel like the rest of the shower. And I'm like, for this weekend, I don't care. And if that part takes 2 months to come in at this point, I don't care.
So the shower is functional.
The shower is completely functional, and rave reviews from the kids. Success.
Why didn't you do this when I still lived at the house?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You can't win.
Oh, it's a mystery.
So, yeah. All right.
Okay.
Topics. Right. So,
topic me.
We have talked about Cloudflare many times in the past. This one caught my eye. It was in the New York Times, and it was an article about Cloudflare, who is creating new settings for their infrastructure. They run, I think, about 10-20% of the internet runs through Cloudflare, something ridiculous like that.
An enormous amount.
So they have new settings that will allow websites to block, by default, bots that scrape data for AI collection. So as we all hopefully understand and know, most of the massive models that have been created to date, the large language models, the Google Geminis and the Claudes and the Llama 3s and or are we up to Llama 4 now? These massive models are created by slurping down the entire internet and building a model on that, which in general, there are some areas where it's great. But for content creators who are doing art, and there's been all these suits, and, like the New York Times has sued, because it pulls down their information, doesn't pay them for the information, and then regurgitates, the models will regurgitate that information based on the right prompts and whatnot of proprietary stuff that normally people should be getting paid for.
I would like to draw a distinction between generative models and classification models. But yes, the generative models.
The generative models are the ones that it's going after, is for content creators, like your video creation, your artist. This is my daughter is an artist, and she hates generative AI. She just absolutely hates it with a passion. And so now what Cloudflare is doing is they're giving websites and website owners not only to protect themselves against cyber attacks, and do that content loading distribution so that you don't get DDoSed and your website doesn't go down, but is now basically putting a block in front of these AI bots
by default that
go to try to pull down data for AI models.
I wonder how they disambiguate between
like search bots.
Yeah, like Google or Bing or Yahoo versus or DuckDuckGo.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of versus, Facebook for Llama or Anthropic for Claude.
I don't know. Maybe there's, I'm sure it's something along the lines of pattern recognition somehow. Anyway, so Cloudflare says they had been considering how to help online publishers almost a couple of years ago, because it's not a new problem where how do people put stuff on their websites and how do you make money when everybody can just copy it? I mean, the cat was out of the bag is it almost 30 years ago now when Napster said, hey, you can share your music. you know, that kind of started the floodgates of, hey, just
Yeah.
copy everything what you want. So Cloudflare said, they were deeply concerned that the incentives for content creation were dead. So if there's no incentive to be creative, create content, then people will stop creating content. And I don't think you want to lose that kind of creativity as a society as a whole. So more power to you, Cloudflare. If this works, fantastic. And we'll see how it goes. Anyways, that's my article for today.
I like the default. I like the default setting, or having it set by default. Opt in instead of have to opt out. Defaults are so important. So, seeing as 90% of people or businesses probably won't change the default, it makes for some interesting. Wonder if they will figure out a way to monetize centrally and share data, so Cloudflare customers can opt in for being scraped if you get like some percentage of dollars. That'll be next year's topic.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, so I kind of had a throwback. This is sort of because it was like, wow, wasn't like one of the first episodes we ever recorded about Spectre and Meltdown. And I went back and looked, and it was episode 9.
And we kind of really didn't start until episode 6.
And 6 is the first one we posted. Yeah. And so our buddy Carl actually joined us and talked Spectre.
That's right.
At the time. Because we had there's some working code at the time. Mm-hmm. Very interesting, side channel for speculative execution. But so this article at the moment, and we've touched Spectre and Meltdown a couple times over the years, because researchers have viewed it as a interesting technique and then figured out other similar ways to go about it. But the chip makers deployed mitigation strategies relatively quickly, in firmware. But they had a huge performance penalty, right? So, and on both CPU and GPU. So this article from Ars Technica is about Ubuntu disabling Spectre protections for the Intel GPU driver in the next version of Ubuntu. Specifically because the security trade-off isn't worth the performance trade-off anymore with the mitigations that have been added into the kernel and in the driver, and they are claiming that you will get a 20% GPU performance boost by disabling these protections. So the juice is no longer worth the squeeze is the euphemism, I guess.
So it's still possible to execute it. It's you have to really, really, really want to go after the data.
Yeah, there was one comment in here. I don't know that I pulled it out, but if you're on a multi-user cloud server, sure, leave it enabled. But again, it's back to the defaults. It'll be disabled by default.
Oh, you can always go turn it back on if you want.
For whatever reason. It's a setting. Okay. But what did it say? It's in the. I don't know what a Quokka is. Evidently, the next release of Ubuntu is Questing Quokka, scheduled for October. So still a couple of months away. That sounds like the sort of animal that would live in Australia.
It is a little rodent. It looks like a tiny kangaroo rodent.
Oh, it's a marsupial.
Western Australia.
Okay, I think
I could watch videos of these little things.
All of Ubuntu's stuff isn't from Australia, is it? I'm now thinking of some of the things that they've had.
Yeah. They're up to Q is what all we need to know.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And alliteration is fun.
Yes, it is.
So what did I haven't actually like read any of my stuff here. The stuff, the quotes I pulled out. That was all kind of set
Oh,
up, I
sorry.
guess. But
Sorry.
I mean, it's the
It's all good.
gist. It's the gist of the article
Yeah, yeah.
anyway. There's this is an Ars Technica article, so
Mm-hmm.
they go into at least a little bit of, and it's a Dan Gooden Ars Technica article, so it's good. But so they go into a little bit about what Spectre actually was. But the thing, especially for the GPU, boy, do GPUs really want to use speculative execution.
Uh-huh.
And so, maybe leaving it on in the for the CPU, which they're not turning it off for CPU at the moment. But they did say that they met with Intel, and let's see, the quote says. The economics just don't stack up for attackers, especially when there are so many lower effort, higher reward attack approaches you can throw.
But it's not the advantage you think it is.
I love that. That's like this is the cast iron 14 lock cat door when you don't actually have a lock on the human door
Yeah.
for the house. I don't know.
I think it's funny. That's a sentence that's supposed to make you feel better, and it just doesn't.
It doesn't. That's right. That's why. That's why. One of the reasons why I copied that one out. So he said, from the user perspective, it's risk reward. Oh yeah, here it is. Researcher Demise added. Probably don't disable side channel mitigations on multi-tenant servers, but for typical users, you have a much higher threat from downloading malware that does literally anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Regarding GPU versus CPU for performance, it says the quote I pulled out was that, predicting instruction branches is more critical for GPU than for CPU performance. The system can effectively parallelize a lot more actions without requiring extensive synchronization points between the cores. If anything, something massively parallel like a GPU wants to do branch prediction even more liberally than a CPU.
Okay.
So yeah, like predict all of them and then choose the one that actually worked. Burn that CPU hot.
Yeah.
Plenty of cores.
That's right.
Cores. Run away. Massively parallel.
Awesome.
Anyway, I thought that was good and kind of a fun callback to 2018.
Yeah. We've been doing this for a while, John.
I know. It's good. It's fun.
Yeah. Still enjoy it.
It's fun. I know. I laugh a lot. Enjoy this stuff. Okay, so how about something fun?
All right, so I have two things. One, I don't remember if I did this as part of intros in the past or if these were I think they were my something funs. So I, have put a deposit to reserve yet another electric truck. So I now have 3 potential electric trucks showing up in 2027.
This is like the electric truck roulette wheel, or like spin the dial.
Does Eric really want? And it'll probably be
no
none
whammies,
of them.
no whammies.
But it is
okay.
You remember?
I haven't looked at this.
Do you remember? Because you grew up in a more rural area, so International Harvester had a pickup truck and a kind of truck called the Scout, the International Scout, and there is a new company the company has evolved, and it's now Scout Motors, scoutmotors.com, and they are developing a pickup truck and an SUV with the Scout brand, international branding and history. And the truck, I think you will agree, it looks better than the other two that I've dropped money on.
By like 14 parsecs.
So it passes the John muster.
Well,
but
like first glance, yeah.
The thing that I like about this one, nice. And we've seen this in other electric vehicles, but one of the things that they've done in this is they have their extended range vehicle will go over 500 miles
No.
because it uses a gas generator. So it takes fuel, but not to power the wheels. It
Interesting.
is a generator, so a gas generator to add charge to the battery to help you go. So the base model will go 350 miles. This one with the gas generator will go 500 miles, and then you can use the gas generator if you're out camping. You just kick on the generator and charge all your things. It's got so it I think it looks pretty sharp, and
It looks really
there is
good.
a
So
bit of
hold on.
nostalgia for
The
me.
the SUV actually looks better even than the
Yeah,
truck.
you have to reserve one or
I,
the other, and I did reserve the SUV. So, but and they're made. It's American made. That's one of their big selling points. It's made in South Carolina. They're building a whole big plant in South Carolina. It's a joint venture between. I don't know if it's a joint venture between Volkswagen and Rivian, or if they're just building on a platform that has been jointly developed by Volkswagen and Rivian. So it kind of has a little bit of a Rivian truck look, but anyways,
it does. It looks Rivian-esque.
yeah, I I thought it looked pretty cool, and I'm a sucker apparently for reserving trucks that aren't called Cybertruck. So I've got three potential electric vehicles in 2027, of which there's a high likelihood I choose none of them. But it's fun to dream now.
There's a high likelihood that some of them don't actually
Yeah,
wind up shipping.
they may not actually even make it.
Um,
But scoutmotors.com, I thought it was a pretty cool pickup truck. And then just another quick side note on something fun. I should probably save this for another time, but you remember Make Magazine?
I do.
I loved Make Magazine. I would get that, and that's what got me all into Arduino and building things and my first 3D printer and all sorts of fun projects. I don't know if it's forgotten, but I stumbled across it this week looking for something else, and I'm like, oh yeah, Make Magazine. Should I? And I was so tempted to just go subscribe to it. They only do 4 magazines a year now, but then you can get with your subscription, you get their entire digital back catalog online. And I'm like, I just don't have time to do all the projects
Right.
that I know I would want to do with if I did get the subscription. But that was another, like, I had my 2 something funds. I'm like, I'll just use both, because I was like, oh yeah, let's remind people of Make
Okay.
Magazine.
That's
That was a
pretty
fun magazine and a fun,
It
if you like to tinker
totally,
with stuff, it was great fun.
totally was. I'm pretty sure I borrowed those. Like you brought a stack of them into
I
work or
I
something like
used
that
to
at
have
some
tons
point.
of them. Yeah.
Because I don't think I ever actually subscribed, but I think I leached off of you and or somebody else.
They were well worn. So
So I'll give you a minor, because it's make related, something fun follow
your
up.
Kickstarter.
I got
Okay.
charged for it this past.
So it should be
weekend,
shipping then,
Monday.
right?
Ish. I haven't gotten a shipping notification. I did get a thing that basically, I think there's like a 7-day holding period. Like they charge you, and then you have 7 days to tell them, "Oh no,
I forgot, or I
can't do
changed my
that."
mind, or whatever.
And I'm like, "Can I push the? I don't care. Please send me. Put me in
Put
the.
my
I'm not going to have any
right.
regrets about spending this." But
Okay.
so
Okay.
so I'm hoping that in the next week or so. Anyway, I saw ironically, because credit cards, you get I don't know if you get a message. I get a message whenever a
Push
charge
notification
comes
to
through.
my phone.
I saw
Love it.
I saw a push notification come through from Kickstarter. I was like, ooh, hey. And so I went and checked the mail, and sure enough, I had like 4 emails from Kickstarter and from the project people and blah, 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 blah. So fingers crossed.
All right.
I got to clean off this desk over here because it's got to sit right about there. And anyway, it's good motivation for me.
All right.
Okay. That's not my something fun though. Although it probably will be if all is well in another couple weeks. But
All right.
Okay. But my something fun that I chose was the first human genome from ancient Egypt was sequenced finally. So for 40 years, they've been trying to sequence DNA from Egypt, but they I don't know. There's examples here from like 1985, from 2017. But mummies evidently are a bad source of trying to preserve DNA.
Okay.
So, but they were able to extract DNA from the teeth of a man who had been interred in a jar, what they call it? Not canopic. It just said a ceramic pot. So, this was from 4,500 to 4,800 years ago. And so it predated widespread mummification in Egypt. So, it says the remains that Scoglin's team sequenced were interred instead in a ceramic pot, a sign of high but not elite status, found at an archaeological site called ERYAT, 265 kilometers south of Cairo along the Nile River. The teeth and bones were discovered in 1902 when Egypt was under British colonial rule, donated to institutions in Liverpool where they've been ever since, and even survived bombing during the Second World War. But expectations were low, it said, when they extracted the DNA, because, like it said, I skipped over in the 1985. Says numerous labs have tried to extract DNA from ancient Egyptians. In 1985, evolutionary geneticist Svante Pabo reported the first ancient DNA sequences from any human, except, and he later won a Nobel Prize for other work, but who later realized his sequences were contaminated with modern DNA, probably his own.
Oops.
I thought that was a funny statement there. And then there was a 2017 study that generated limited genomic data from 3 Egyptian mummies, blah, blah, blah. But the mummies are hard to evidently extract DNA from. But it says from this one, Scogland is the scientist here. Had enough DNA to generate a full genomic sequence, and the Y chromosomes indicated the remains belong to a male. The 2 more interesting facts here, at least. The first is that the majority of the DNA resembled early farmers from northern Africa, but the rest most closely matched people in Mesopotamia. Interesting. It does, obviously they don't know why. They don't have a bridge DNA between them yet. It said it's not clear whether this implies a genetic direct link between members of the Mesopotamian cultures, which is also hinted at by similarities in some cultural artifacts, or if the man's Mesopotamian ancestry arrived through other unsampled populations. But then this was the last thing was, I thought, also funny. Says the rest of the ancient Egyptian man's bones revealed more details of his life. Evidence of arthritis and osteoporosis suggested he died at an advanced age, and signs of wear indicate a life of physical toil, sitting hunched over on hard surfaces. On the basis of this and imagery from other tombs in this period, he might have been a potter, said co-author Joel Irish, a bioarchaeologist. I thought that was a cool title, too.
Okay.
But I'm trying to imagine the work conditions that leave the evidence on the bones, your skeletal structure, that can be read 4,800 years later. And hypothesized, I guess. But
I'm sure they
anyway,
just
I thought
fed
that was
it
cool.
to an AI, and the AI told them. So, all right.
I think you're right.
All right.
I think you're right.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to when we start creating 4,800-year-old Egyptians, along with our woolly
DNA.
mice, woolly mammoth mice, and we'll just ask him. All right. Well, good stuff, John.
Fun stuff coming. All right, my friend. Have a great evening, and I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.